This is Leicester Till I Die TV. Watch and subscribe on YouTube and listen on your podcast platform.
Hi everybody, Jerry Taggart here. Now be sure to watch Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV by subscribing on YouTube and following them on social media for all the latest Leicester City news and information. Come on, you foxes!
Strap yourself in,
because we're set up, switched on and ready to go.
Seven, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And it's live.
It's coming home, it's coming home. Hey, I bet you weren't expecting that, were you? I've always said, Gareth Southgate, master technician, Raheem Sterling, what a player. And Harry Kane, honestly, he starts now. I've been saying that all tournament. Yeah, right.
It's the Euros 2020 with Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV.
TV. Oh, sorry, I was joining in then. Yes, England 2, Germany 0. 50-odd years we've waited for that. We're on that one there, YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV. Press those buttons. Twitter at Leicester TID. Facebook, Leicester Till I Die the group. Get onto YouTube, Leicester Till I Die TV. Like I say, just find a button and press it. That's all you need to do. Well, I've got a couple of people here with me. One is not going to be very happy at all. One should be extremely happy. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll bring the extremely happy one in first. He says, oh, this is going to go well. Brad, yes, come on. It's coming home. It's coming home.
It's coming. Football's coming home.
2-0.
I called it. Anyone that watched on the previous video we did this morning, well, this afternoon, will know when you asked the score predictions, Chris, who went 2-0 England and got stared at for saying that England could keep a clean sheet against the Germans. The Germans are gone.
Was it Stephen?
It was Stephen. Wide-eyed he was at my predictions that we wouldn't concede against the Germans, and it was 2-0.
I tell you what, let's get him in. He's waiting patiently, and bless him for coming on. He's half Scot, half German, allegedly, and it was perfect for this show. Reese, let me bring you in. Good evening, young man.
All right, how's it going?
It's going very, very well for us. How's it going for you?
No comment.
Reese, I've got to ask, what's it like to have two disappointing tournaments? In what?
Once you don't win it, you can once you don't win it, you can answer the same question.
Fair, mate. I like that. Fair. I'll give you that.
Fair dues. I mean, it was again. I don't think it was a classic performance, was it, Brad?
No, it certainly wasn't. But I don't care. I honestly don't care. I said that before. I don't care that it was nitty gritty. I don't care that I nearly fell asleep. We took our chances. Germany fluffed theirs. That's what matters.
Mm-hmm.
In the long scheme of things.
Reese, them first 10 minutes, I was actually sat there with my buttocks clenched. I thought, my God, this is going to be a long 90.
Yeah, that opening game was aggression, intensity. This is what I said of the Germans, is they're aggressive and they're intense, but if any of you guys watch the podcast I did on a Monday night, I said the exact same word that have been happening tonight. I said the back three for Germany is wrong. I fucking called it last night. I said, even though I said Germany were going to win, obviously because I'm a German fan. I said the back three is the problem. He should have went back four. Did he? But of course he didn't. But the opening 10 minutes, there was more aggression and intensity, but it's just enough, really. Just horrible.
England then came into it after 10 minutes, Brad, but, you know, Kane, and we'll come on to Kane later, wonderful player, won't have anything said against him. But that first time, it was like, was he even on the pitch?
Well, yeah, but, you know, we spoke in depth about Kane on our match preview about him, and he has delivered what Southgate was probably hoping and praying he would. Everybody knew Kane had supporters around the world that were on his back. There were pundits questioning him. There was pundits that were furious not to hear Dominic Calvert-Lewin in the squad, let alone replacing Kane for today's game. And lo and behold, finally, the man has come up to the occasion, because Kane has finally scored against an opposition of note, in my opinion, in a major tournament. He has finally delivered where he needs to, and all hail King Sterling. He's finally putting everybody that doubts what he can do to bed today, because he was by far and away our best player. He actually was the only form of anything going forward in a hurry at times.
He was, but Reese, you got to say with Sterling, and I was watching with my son and his girlfriend, and I turned around and said, like, is Sterling married, or does he have a partner and kids? Because he finds it very, very hard to commit to any decision, because he gets the ball, he makes 4 or 5, nice touches, goes past a few players, and then can't decide, does he pass, does he shoot, and 9 times out of 10 he loses it.
Yeah, it's a very fair point. The man goes missing more times than a fucking Ghostbuster, but he was there when it mattered most. That's all I can say, really. I mean,
yeah.
The fact I have to praise this lot really makes me sick. But I've got
fair play to you, mate. Fair play to you. I've got to give it credit.
But the one thing is, though, unlike other people, and I'm going to say this publicly because at least I can say it, at least I've got the balls to show up.
Yes.
If somebody else's team had lost, they'd have been in their house greeting over a picture of Tom Jones, probably. Like, at least I've got the balls to show up. But there was so many things wrong with that game. But if you don't take your chances, you don't win.
No, I mean, thank you very much for coming on. Like I say, I do appreciate it, and you have got the balls to come on, and I'm not going to sort of make fun or anything like that. But were you surprised?
No, pick and jibe. Honestly, I think you guys are well within your right to. Honestly,
but were you surprised? I mean, we went 3 at the back, and I'm looking and think we mentioned this before. I know, Brad, but Reece, were you surprised at the lineup he went for? Because at times it was literally 5 at the back, and we just weren't getting out.
Yeah, I'm surprised England went 5 at the back with so many defensive changes. You didn't need to, but I don't know if it was just caution or just thinking they're going to grind out a result, or they're playing for the longevity because of the stamina of the team. I don't know. But even I was confused by they played 5 at the back, but
yeah,
paid off.
I mean, Brad, like we said there, I mean, we've seen to. Well, I think we have probably squad depth wise one of the best in the tournament, but he's not using it, and some of the players out there did look a little bit knackered.
Yeah, but that's also something that I learned to appreciate, that every nation seems to be struggling. It's quite iconic that I don't know if it's just because it's the only league I predominantly watch, but I noticed the count was a lot of players that went down were probably players from major leagues and predominantly the Premier League. And just like I said, the effects of the knock-on of this cramped together season in conjunction with it, no matter how you manage your players, no matter how much you try and rotate with the subs, and that's why it's great that England have the likes of Grealish and are able to put Foden and that on the bench and not play them to bring them on is an asset to what England have in depth of quality. It's just, you can't always do it. You can't always prepare for everything. Every player on that and that in these big teams have had a cramped schedule, and it's just hoping and praying they get through it, because they could get an injury at any point. I've never seen so many players cramped up by the 90th minute in a tournament in a long time. It just proves how how maybe next time, God forbid, something like this happens in the world, we're a little bit more careful of how we organise football a bit, because this has taken a toll. I don't care what they earn, the human beings, we have to remember that. And this was probably, whilst I'm thrilled at the tournament and I'm thrilled that England are going further than I expected when we knew we had Germany, we knew it was going to be tough. We've got to remember these are human beings who need to be cared for. So the players are doing what they can out there, and managers are making subs. I think it's a good thing that they've got 5 subs, because if this tournament was 3 subs, there'd be injuries. Teams would be depleted going back to the start of the season.
Reese, can I just say that wasn't me? That was Ankit, Reese.
I saw. Yeah, that's why I've turned on my laptop so I can fire back. No, I'm not gonna. I'll take everything I get, to be honest, because we were
Ankit,
second best at everything.
Do pop over and see Ankit's channel, RC Bian, BIAN, Chelsea Fan TV. Lovely guy, especially when he takes the way out of losing teams. But Reese, I mean, I don't know. I heard booing during the end of the first half.
Yeah, thanks for reminding me of that. Thanks for reminding me of that. How fucking dare the English fans? Like, I'm sorry. Like, you all talk about it's coming home, and you're entitled to that. Go in with an arrogance, go in with an ego, but how dare you boo a national anthem? I mean, come on, like, show some fucking respect. Fair enough, you beat them in 90 minutes, but there's a level of respect.
I didn't hear them boo the English national. Was it the German national anthem?
It was the German national anthem that got booed.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't. I must admit, I was ordering a takeaway at the time because I couldn't get through. So I missed.
That's right.
I gave up the national anthems, but it is something that England fans seem to do, is to boo the opposing national anthem. But they were actually booing the England team later in the half.
Yeah, I can see why they would have, to be honest. But it's games like these where you need to win and win when it matters. And Benefit, that's what you have done.
Yeah,
that's what you have done.
Yeah, it is embarrassing though, as Ankit says here, Brad. You know, booing the national anthem. It's always gone on as long as I've known, you know, followed the England football team. But it is embarrassing, isn't it?
It's disgusting as well. Like, you shouldn't be booing national anthems, and that goes for any team.
Look, I'm not out here to defend it straight off the bat. I'm just making maybe devil's advocate / the point where the Neanderthalist comes in on this one, and that is people take literal history into this, don't they? And that's the thing. They don't look at it as a football basis. You know, they think it's just Germany did a war, so they did a bad thing, so we must boo them. But at the end of the day, that's what that mentor comes from. That's what the mentality of these people have that boo selectively the German national anthem, or anyone that boos anyone. The England predominances, unfortunately, people will think there's the infamous song two world wars and 1 World Cup. That's where that booing got to come from. But you know,
I think we do tend to sort of.
I'm just explaining maybe where it's coming from and where people.
But I think we do tend to boo any opposing team's national anthem. But did you hear the players getting booed later in the half, Brad?
Yes, I did, and I don't understand that. I really don't. This is a do or die, one shot, no redos, no group games to save you moment, and we're at home. Yes, it was negative, but like I said, the football has kept England are now the only team left in the competition that have yet to concede a goal. I'm delighted. I was happy to come in 1-0, 0-0 at half time because, to be honest with you, Germany had the best chance.
Yeah.
It might have been straight at him, but Pickford needed to make the save. So I was happy to come in 0-0. I was happy for us to be a little bit, maybe too negative, I will say that. But if we're coming up 0-0, let's not forget, my opinions on the German side alone, I know they're a quality side. I know I said they were underperforming and that, but they're a dangerous side. If they come in 1-0 up at half-time, that's a different outcome, I'm telling you that now. I would have been more comfortable 1-0, but I'm happy for the first 45 minutes to come away with it, technically in the better situation.
Yeah, it was though, Reese, wasn't it? A good effort from Germany, but a good one-handed save from Pickford.
Yeah, it was a fantastic save from that Havertz volley, like head on. The ferocity in that shot as well. Like that's what top keepers do. And if you get right where it matters most, then that's football for you. Like that chance was perfect. The worst one for me though was the Muller one. That was just
the moment that's the moment.
Honestly, I was sitting there. I sunk to the floor. It was that bad a reaction because I was like, this is the one guy who does step up when it matters, and I'm like, he's going to finally score at the Euros.
Yeah, and
never mind.
Can I just say something else? Sorry, quick, Chris. That'll get my words out. My brain's not going right. If I can just get this quickly, easy for me to say apparently. One thing that I didn't like, and again, I'm going to have a go at the BBC here, if that's okay with you, Chris, if you don't mind me making this.
I'll get the lawyers ready.
I will as well. I've got to give credit to the commentators on this because they were as disgusted as I were. There was a poor little German girl supporter in the crowd. And do you know how I know that? Because they panned the cameras to her in tears. That's not on. That's not on from the cameras. Whoever got told to put that camera on a crowd, I don't care. Sod the rivalry, sod England, Germany. You don't do that. You don't do it, right? It's not right. It's not a moment to capture. And there was fans cheering, and the commentators were like, "Oh, get off! That's why is it on camera? Get the cameras off. That's not right." And I've got to applaud Guy and Genus for that because they both were not happy with that. I've got to say, yet again, BBC have let themselves down with how they handled the situation. We got to enjoy our scud moment. Fine, we've won up the Germans. It's been a while coming for us, right? You don't do that. That's a little girl. It's just seen her. That goal's broke her heart, Leicester. All England, Germany aside, honestly, you don't do that. The cameramen should know better.
Yeah,
they don't learn. BBC needs to have a look at that.
Good points, mate. Yeah, good point there, Brad. I think we all saw that and went, "Oh, you know." But Reece, the game itself, did Germany let themselves down, or did England outplay them? How do you look at it?
To be honest, I just think they just grew into the game and they just got settled. I think once you settle in against a very top opponent and you just know that if they don't break you down, they don't take a chance, they don't score, and you're comfortable and you've settled,
you're
pretty much going to win. And to be fair, that showed it. Like they were just settled, and from that you just need to move forward with it. That's all. That's all that matters, really. Is you've just got to keep settling. You've got to keep focused. But the Germans as well, they had chances. The one problem for me as well tonight, and they kept doing it over and over and over, which really pissed me off, is they kept passing it back to Neuer. Go fucking forward.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, I tell you what, because we get that a lot with Leicester, don't we, Brad? But it happens as well with with England, is that in the first half, if you like, first 30 minutes, the only player that was actually going forward was Harry Maguire.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it happened as well in the second half, how we started. Harry Maguire went ahead on the halfway line, and who's in front of him? I think it was Sterling and someone else. It was like, what? Is that all we've got going forward? The Germans already had 6 back. It was a game that needed bringing to life, and in the end, like we said, in the moments when the pressure was on, England found a way to do it, and the Germans didn't. You know, England found that, brought on Jack Grealish. It lifted the stadium even more, and you felt the rise, and England took advantage of it.
Yeah.
The first time they cracked that German defence, and Grealish showed Kane that you can pass to Sterling, you will score. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
You know.
Reece, I'm conscious that this is really, really difficult for you, so I'm going to thank you and let you go. But before you go,
I've handled worse, so I've handled a lot worse.
and if I was really nasty, I'd say I understand that, obviously being a Scots fan, but I wouldn't say anything horrible like that to you. I do. Oh, come on, I've got to have one.
No, it's fine. I totally get it. So frankly, it's football.
I do really
you just gotta
appreciate
move
you
on.
coming on and talking and none of this, but. From your point of view as a Scots fan and a German fan, England, it's opened up for them now, hasn't it? We've got, let's be honest with you, the easier draw or the easier half of the draw. How far is there an excuse now if we don't go on and win it, or can we go on and win it?
Oh, there is an excuse, yeah. If you do not even get past the quarterfinals, hopefully. But
I'll allow you that one, mate. I'll allow you that one.
There is. It's football. It's tournament football. Like, frankly, the one team I honestly don't think you want to play against is Sweden. I think yourselves and Sweden are the exact same team. I generally think they defensively could give you guys a hard game, and there'll be a lot riding on them from the World Cup 3 years ago. So I wouldn't put it past. If Sweden were to get past Ukraine, that it's in fact Sweden that knocks England out, because it's not even at Wembley as well. You are playing in Rome.
Yeah,
you got to remember that you're not. That's one thing England fans need to remember. You're not playing in Wembley now.
Yeah.
You're now playing in Rome, and it's totally different feeling. So frankly, another thing as well is like they've got to keep the moment. Like they've got to stay in the game. They've got to keep the same moment. They've not to think far ahead. If you do, that's when you are going out.
Yeah. And who is your money on as now a neutral? Sorry, you have to say that. But who is your money on to actually win the whole thing?
I think Italy are gonna win the Euros.
They were my dark horse, but yeah, I am glad they're on the other side. Look, mate, Reece, appreciate you coming on, mate. Really, really do. Thanks very much for that.
No problem.
Have you started your because you're doing some presenting? Give your channel a shout out.
It's the weekly armchair podcast. I should be starting this week, but based on this, I'll be going in with a little bit of anger. So if you're a fan of any London clubs, beware.
Don't present angry. Don't present angry.
I'll go in the same way I always am. I'll take it on the chin. I'll move on. That's what you do with football. But as long as England don't win the Euros, I'll be happy.
Reece there, the Piers Morgan of football podcast. Reece, go and have a drink, drown your sorrows, mate. Thank you very much, and we'll speak again. But thanks for coming on and taking it on the chin, mate.
My pleasure. It's my absolute pleasure.
Brilliant, mate. Thank you. All the best. Take care.
Bye. Bye.
Bye. Right, now we can take the piss out of Germany. I tell you what, I can't believe it's 55 years, I think, since we beat Germany in a knockout competition. I mean, you know, we started this in the knockout stages of a competition. Sorry. It's another albatross off our back, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it really is. And I understand where Reece is coming from all the shocks that we've seen. We've kind of got to take this into it. This has got to be that fuel for the fire moment, hasn't it? This is going to be the moment. This game is going to be the game that when we next play, or wherever we play next, and so on and so forth, hopefully into the final of the tournament, at least from here. But each game, we've got to take it one game at a time and remember what they can do. And if things aren't going to plan, they'll go, come on, we beat the Germans, we can do this. You know what I mean? They'll use it as their own fuel for fire, because whatever your situation is with England, Germany, and your levels of hatred, I'll just say that for easier things, with the Germans, you've got to be able to use this now, because these teams we're going to be playing have got as far as us, so they're good enough to beat us. So we've got to just remember that. each time it comes.
But I mean, looking at today's game, like I said before, that first 10 minutes, and I guess I can see what Germany were doing. They thought if we come out, if we can get an early goal, get an early lead, it puts the pressure on England. They've got to come at us, and we can just sit back and pick them off. And I think we did well to soak that pressure up. We then probably had the last 20 minutes of that first half, 25 minutes, and I thought, are we going to regret, as we've often said this about Leicester, are we going to regret not making the most of when we're on top, as I often used to say to my missus? And, we went 0-0, and I think my son said it was the first 0-0 at half-time of the knockout stages.
Possibly. I think it's the first time since the Scottish arrived that we heard someone cheering 0-0 at half time, to be honest with you. I don't get the section of the crowd that booed it, because if it was English, I'm assuming that booed it. I don't get it, because at the end of the day, this was going to be a difficult game. I'm like you, in the way that I was happy to come in. Yes, I'd have liked us to have been in front, but if we'd have come in 1-0 down, I'd have feared the worst. So to come in 0-0 was like a very good base to go into that second half. I think England might have seen more movement on a football table, an actual spinning football table, than you did from the England players at some points in the games. But the Germans weren't all about it as well. It's not like the Germans were having 13 shots in the first half and we were backs against the walls. What we did right was defend well, and then when we got their moments in front of goal, we got them right. So, and I think that's the performance that people need to hold fire, and maybe do a Rio Ferdinand, slap down the contract, make Southgate sign it now, get all excited, and give him a 5-year deal. But
talk us through Sterling's goal. I mean, well, first of all, Grealish came on, and you could almost feel there was that lift in the crowd, and we the thing, like you said, this was a one-off game. It is a knockout game. You've got to go for it, and like we said at the start, one of the few players that was going for it was Maguire. Then you bring on Grealish. The crowd go, and whatever you say about Grealish as an England player, I love the guy to bits, and he will attack the opposition. Again, I was surprised that he replaced Saka.
I was, and I agree. I think Saka was up there for man of the match at that point until the goal came in, because he again was running things. England were trying to predominantly do things by him. He didn't always know what to do with it at times, like Sterling doesn't, but he was definitely the spark going forward. But I want to just have a little twist on Southgate. Yeah. People say that he got things wrong tactically. They always question tactically. If you really think about it, I think it was genius him not starting Grealish in a way. The reason being is because if you think about it, if he'd have started that game, and I know it's in hindsight, but obviously Southgate's plan was to absorb Germany, not let them get a lead, and if we get a chance to nick a goal, get ourselves in front in this tournament, in this game, is a bonus, but make sure by halfway we're no worse off than when we started, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And I think if Jack Grealish doesn't get much of the ball, you saw the reaction of the crowd every time that camera panned to him. The only time the camera did the right thing in panning to him, right? The crowd erupted. I think Southgate planned to bring Jack Grealish in at 0-0 when England needed that lift, just to push them, just to give them that boost of energy for an extra 10-15 minutes. And look what it did. I think Southgate gets a little bit of credit because he might have gone out on a hope that that's how it played out. It had to play out like that in a sense for it to work. But it didn't half work for him, didn't it? The whole thing.
Would you have taken Saka off, though?
I think you could have argued to take any one of them midfield players off at that point, apart from Sterling. But
I thought he was one of our best players, Saka. A bit like the other day when he brought, Grealish on for Foden.
Yeah.
You can't criticise the guy. We won 2-0. You can't. You can't say he didn't get it wrong. Like I said, tactical genius, that Gareth, isn't he?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No one ever doubted him. Every England fan has always wanted Southgate, always rated him. We definitely never did a show asking if we could sack him or not. But it's one of them. Sometimes we've looked at when Rodgers has done it. He's taken up a player and we've tweeted, and we've gone, why everybody else is taking him off for him because he's been our best player. And lo and behold, words have been eaten and humble pie's been cooked and split between me and you because that player's gone on another blinder and impacted the game with an assist or with a goal. And that's exactly what we got with Jack Grealish coming on for Saka. Like I said, it's like what's the A-team saying? I love it when a plan comes together. Everything seemed to go right for England and wrong for Germany.
And Sterling took it well when he got the goal.
He did. He kept himself composed. He got in front of his man. He did everything you'd want from a forward player. And credit to him. He's had a lot of doubts and struggles over his time for England and Man City. Fans getting on his back, and he's putting them in a corner, shall we say, to kind of get their humble pie cups.
I mean, like I say, I've not been his biggest fan, but I can't. I mean, we've scored three. Well, we scored 4 goals. He's got 3 of them. The first England player to score all 3 goals, or the first 3 goals in a tournament. I think Gary said for 38 years. The last one being Gary Lineker.
Yeah, and they pointed these stats out. You can show that whilst we had a right to be frustrated with him for the start of his England career, because he got 45 appearances, I think he got 3 goals, they said. And then they said in his last 20, he's now got 15 goals for England. So, like, you remember the questions we asked the Leicester fans of Harvey Barnes, and he used to add goals to his game for it. There's always been that about Sterling with England. Well, now he's doing it. So now he's showing he's still maturing and learning as a footballer. He's not, he's not like he's forgot to try and stop development because he's at Man City and thinks he's got it easier. He's showing that he's learning.
Just want to give a quick shout out, Warren Knight. Thanks for tuning in, Warren, all the way from down under. And
wow.
And I don't mean my wife's boudoir. From Australia, Adelaide in Australia. There, he's a huge Fox fan. He does follow the channel, not always live because of the timings, but he's been up all night watching his phone, getting very excited for the 3 Lions. I mean, if you can't get excited after a 2-0 win, then against the old enemy, then But
Warren lives in Adelaide. I'll make Warren Knight, you're from Adelaide, right? Because you're a Leicester fan, I'm going to have to make you our #1 supporter if you can sort me out accommodation if I can get tickets to the Ashes, because I'd love to be somewhere in Adelaide for the Ashes. It's a dream of mine. I'm only going to be
Hey, excuse me. I don't want to pull rank here, Brad, but, I see. I think, if anybody's going to go to Australia, mate, it's me. Warren Knight can put me up, and I can do live Leicester Till I Die cricket things for the Ashes.
Yeah, that'd be one, wouldn't it, mate?
Yeah. I'll put the link there. If anybody wants to come on just for a quick 2 minutes just to give the thought, you're welcome. The link's in the chat. Kane, I mean, he bent down, took it well.
Bit worrying. Didn't touch his feet. That was a bit.
No,
worrying.
But I think if he'd gone with his feet, he might have missed it.
That's what I mean. It's a bit worrying that we think the striker got his head to the ball, finished it well. Probably thought I'm more reliable with my head than my feet in this situation. But it did look funny, didn't it? The way he had to head it. I just thought you could have volleyed that in, surely, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, mate, come with the moment. He finally come with the man. He finally scored past a notable opposition in a major tournament. He's finally put some credit to his name.
It's going to happen eventually, isn't it?
Yeah, and what a moment to happen.
What I would say is I can't believe the amount of stick Sterling gets on social media when he basically, until today, scored the only person that scored the goals. And again, it's just... how you two doing?
Can I just say, welcome along to Rich. His channel, Rich Sports, on YouTube. Give it a like, give it a follow. It's a great channel, and there's a lot of general football content. So he's a Man United and Wales fan. Poor man, but. But all my dreams have come true. I've had a Scots fan in. I've now got a Wales fan in. What more could I wish for? God is smiling on me today. You know, I know. In fairness, I've got to be honest with you, Rich. You've been very fair in your support of England throughout.
I was going to say, I said before the tournament, and I know it's hard for some people to understand, but I support England and Wales because of family reasons. Yes. But I've always supported England, and when I was talking on my channel last night, I was talking to someone from Croatia saying how many tournaments I've watched England lose to Germany in the 90s in particular, and obviously 2010. So I'm just happy to see them beat Germany and actually not be a sort of tight, tense finish like we've seen in the past. We didn't go to penalties, which I was very happy about. Nice to see Grealish come on and be a game changer. And what can you say? Germany, they had that one chance where we almost gave them like a free shot, didn't we? And then he was kind enough to mess it up and knock it wide, which is quite nice.
Very decent of him.
Nice to see them not being clinical for a change, wasn't it? So very happy.
Yes. I mean, I'm still sort of pinching myself because it is one of those things. And we have beaten them 5-1 in the qualifiers, and we've beaten them. You know, we beat them in the friendly when Vardy started the comeback. You know, we've done all that, but to do it, like I said earlier, 55 years since we've last done it, and to beat them in the knockout round of a major championship, it's been a long time coming. Another one I can tick off of a lot of I was there with my son moments.
Yeah, because I was going to say, I remember the 5-1, and it just seems so long ago. I couldn't remember what it was in, because every time we come to a major tournament, and you think
it was the World Cup qualifier, I think, wasn't it? And it was Sven's first game.
World qualifier, wasn't it? When we beat, it was the World Cup. You're right, because we beat Greece.
Yeah,
right,
I mean, the fact that Germany, it meant that Germany, I think, then had to qualify, do a playoff. And of course, Germany being Germany, they went on and won the bloody thing. But,
they would, wouldn't they?
That's Germany. But I mean, at 2-0, you could sit back and relax. And my son was so relaxed, he was counting at how many sniffs of his finger the German manager had.
So that was the thing, wasn't it? There was Germany and France that, in the group stages, looked good in parts, and you think in the knockout stage they're going to kick on and find another gear, and they didn't. And we saw that with France as well. I think they haven't really ever found, maybe for about 10 minutes against Switzerland, I thought that Switzerland had kind of thrown it away.
Yeah.
But it's open now, isn't it? I think that all the dark horses are the favourites. You've got Belgium, England and Italy, probably.
Yes, I mean, you know, Brad, I mean, you know, like Rich said there, you know, Germany never starts strong. We always, you know, they always come stronger. England, in fairness, don't always start these competitions very well. Remember, we couldn't beat Switzerland in the Euro '96. But you know, am I getting too excited here? And I said earlier we are on the easier. And Rich is smiling. Typical England fan here. We're beating Germany. We're going to win it.
When everyone says the easy side of the draw, and you look at it and think, well, I'm sure that the Dutch thought they got an easy draw when they got to knockout stage. Yes. I think maybe France thought they got a decent draw, and I wouldn't say that.
I will take that on the chin, and you're quite right. But you know, even as an England fan, I would prefer to be looking at thinking, well, we're facing Sweden or Ukraine, and then possibly Denmark or the Czech Republic, rather than Italy or on that side of the draw. Yeah. So when I say easy, I mean it was on paper, but it is an open competition. But Brad, if we do go on and win it, you're going to get all those Scots fans and what have you saying, yeah, but you were on the easier side of the draw. That's what they said in the World Cup, wasn't it?
Knock out Germany. That's one of the best teams in the world. So you have to, if you've knocked them out in this stage of the competition, it's the same as beating them in the final, isn't it? You've got to beat them at some point.
Yes, yeah. But Brad, to come to you now, it's are you still pinching yourself? I mean, That said, I think, on that last game of the group stage, we were at one point playing Hungary, France, Portugal, and Germany all at different times. I was quite happy because Germany did look, apart from the win over Portugal, Germany didn't look like Germany.
No, they did. They looked like the Germans at the 2018 World Cup, and they played exactly like that. You know my disdain for how everybody hypes up Germans as tournament. Yes, they've got quality players. Yep, they're a league above on their day with the talent they've got, but they've not been performing like that. They came fourth, and I'll state it again, they came fourth in 2018. They were a hair's breadth away from coming fourth in this year's competition. England did what they needed to do and rightfully dumped them out of the competition because they played poor. They have been poor and were poor. And Richie's right. We don't need to get too carried away because these teams have beat other difficult sides to get through. But you would favour the side of the draw. I'm very happy to rather be playing these teams and than having to go through the likes of Spain, and Croatia, and all that. Spain and Italy and Belgium potentially. It's obviously more favourable. Not a guaranteed cert, but it's more of a favourable side of it. But I said to you tonight, Chris, I think it was before the show, or right at the very start, I said, this is one of the moments where England fans will sense it might just actually happen. I said it was like when Leicester beat Man City, when we went on to win the title. For me, that was the moment that I actually the word slipped out my mouth, we're going to do it. This is it. That was the first time that word genuinely slipped out my mouth about Leicester winning the title. And I've had the same moment with us being Germany. No matter how poor they are, this is one of them pinnacle. England beat Germany on way to Euro 2020. That's what I see. That's what I read.
And Rich, they say us English fans get carried away. I don't know where anybody else gets.
It's so open. I was going to say Sweden. I know we beat them in the World Cup, but they're historically a very difficult team to beat for England. I think it was a long time, and I've watched a few games against Sweden where we haven't done well. I don't know if I'd rather Ukraine or not. I think this game's almost 50-50 as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ukraine won. They did look quite good in the group stages. But I don't know. There's a good chance there. A good chance of England to go significant distance, maybe make the final even.
We shouldn't underestimate. Sorry, Brad.
Sorry, I was just going to say, it's one of them, though, isn't it? Now, you have to look at it. They're not going to get a better opportunity. Like what they say sometimes with a cup run. Leicester was the same after they beat Man United. Not going to get
you get an opportunity, don't you? You have to take it. I would say, actually, I thought Southgate gets a lot of criticism. I think last night I said maybe it would be good to keep it tight and have players like Grealish that could come off the bench, because I think that they could definitely do something in the last maybe 25 minutes. And he gets a lot of stick for his setup. And I think England, defensively, they haven't conceded the goal now since March, which is incredible. And we talk about Italy, look how good they are defensively. And when you have that record, which is incredible in international football, but you do have Sterling, Grealish, a lot of people that can create things with a little opportunity. Even like Kane's got off the mark now. I think there's a lot to be positive about, because other teams will be not wanting to play England because they're a difficult team to play against as well.
I mean, I'll look at let's look at the other side of the draw quickly, because you've got Italy, Belgium. So one of those are going to obviously knock each other out.
That's two teams you wouldn't want to play, I would say.
Yeah. Spain, Switzerland. I mean, I don't think after the way they played against France, like you said, you can't, not think Switzerland have got a chance. But there's some big teams could go out on that side. I mean, if you had to pick one, and I know we've touched on it there, Sweden or Ukraine. Sweden were top of the group, of course. Brad, I'll come to you first. Who would you sooner play, Sweden or Ukraine?
Rather play Sweden, because the Ukraine are suddenly starting to get whispers of they're the dark horses, because they've done surprisingly well with. I think it's a name that's up there. There's Shevchenko being there has given them a bit of impetus. Rather play Sweden, because we've met before and we'll know what they're capable of to a degree, and we know what to expect a bit more than we do playing the Ukraine.
And Rich, would you go with you'd sooner play? Sorry, Brad, I was trying to multitask there. Who did you choose in the end?
Oh, Sweden. Sorry,
Sweden. Would you agree with Sweden, Rich?
I think it's pretty even. I think I'd probably go for Ukraine maybe, because I know England beat Sweden recently, so I think it'd be good to play someone different. Maybe they'd be a bit more wary of Ukraine. I think maybe. I mean, they both look decent at times. I think with Sweden, they can defend so well that I'd rather England played against someone that maybe isn't quite as organised at the back. So I think that could be frustrating. But
and then
50 for me.
And then getting through, hopefully, from that game, we're in the semis, Denmark or Czech Republic. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to do this.
I was going to say, we've already played Czech Republic, haven't we?
Yes.
I don't know, actually. Out of those two teams.
The rest of Europe whoever Denmark are playing, they're just running on adrenaline at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah, they're playing well. I think Czech Republic maybe we underestimated them slightly. I mean, they did look pretty good last game, and I don't know. Actually, maybe Czech Republic, because I don't think I'd maybe rather them knock Denmark out.
And Brad, who would you fancy playing?
I think England are probably the only nation that might just get away with knocking Denmark out. They literally are the only nation that could probably just about get. You don't want to be the villain that knocks Denmark out of the tournament, do you? You don't want to be the pantomime villain of this, because you're just going to think, oh God, no, this, like, oh, we're in a semi-final, which is great, but we've just not like the child of the group out. This is horrible. It's, I think you just about get away with that. I think I'd rather that than go into the expectancy, because I think you're expected to beat Czech Republic if they go through.
Yes.
Because you beat them already.
Well, I will leave it there. I won't take it to the final because I don't want to sort of tempt fate too much.
That's not go round by round.
I'd be accused of being like an overeager England fan. Now, never do that. Rich, mate, just give his channel a quick shout out.
Oh yeah, we're going to do a review tonight of obviously the England game against Germany. It's going to be, I say it's scheduled for 11, but we'll be starting. It depends on extra time and penalties. If there's no extra time and penalties in the Sweden-Ukraine game, we'll probably start about 10:15. But it's called Rich Sports. You can find on Twitter. It's Rich Sports 7 or Rich Sports on YouTube. We'll be doing. I've got quite a few guests, German supporters, and a few England. Suddenly, there's quite a demand of England fans want to come on. I don't know why that is. People are messaging me that kind of want to talk to people about it. But yeah, catch it tonight. I think it's going to be good fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, good luck with that one. And I think that you could go for the record. I think once we start talking about England winning, 4 o'clock in the morning. If I wake up, I'll check if you're still live, mate.
Yeah, I doubt it, but you never know.
Thanks very much. All the best, Rich. Thanks for coming on.
Cheers, Chris.
Cheers. Thanks a lot. Thanks to Rich there, a nice Wales fan there. Warren, thanks very much for your kind work, mate. Cheers for that. Appreciate the kind words, and of course the blue hearts as well. Is it coming home, Brad?
It's going to be the best chance we've got, mate. It's got to get to at least a final. It's not coming home. It's at least got to get put on an Amazon delivery. You know what I mean? It's got to be closer to home than it's going to get. For who we've got, regardless of the situation, England aren't going to get a more advantageous way to win.
I'm saying no disrespect to Sweden, Ukraine, Czech Republic, or Denmark. When we were in the World Cup, we knew that we could, we had, the easier run to the final, but we did know that sort of, that Croatia were there who weren't a bad side. We haven't got what I would call the big three, apart from England, that are still in there: Spain, Italy, Belgium. We know they've got at least 2 of those are going to get knocked out at some point. And like you say, it is the best chance we've got. And do you think, looking at the England team, the players that we've got, and I touched on this earlier, the fact that we've got this great squad, probably one of the best squads in the tournament, that some of these players are sort of going to be unleashed as we get further in. You know, Sancho might, start a game, and Grealish might play more than he has been doing.
I mean, to be honest with you, I stand by what I said earlier. I think Southgate's been very shrewd, and we've only just got the realisation from seeing further evidence today. I think Southgate's been very clever as using Jack Grealish in the way he's intended. He's like putting Jack Grealish on was like a surprise return at the Royal Rumble. If you're a wrestling fan, or any wrestling fans will understand that, it's like a surprise return because you weren't sure, and then his music hits, and the ball goes up, and you see him there, and the crowd goes nuts for it. And that's what you do with a player like that. He impacts. And if the idea was to play the way we're doing, used it perfectly. And I think there's a chance we'll see Sancho. I think there's certain players that Southgate would say, whilst he'll take our opponents with the greatest respect,
of course,
Sweden, obviously, he won't think, oh, this is a chance for me to rest so and so. He will give these players the balance they need to know they can have a moment in this tournament. That if they're patient, keep trying on the training ground field, they'll get minutes.
Yeah.
And when these players do it, you see the hunger a little bit in their eyes, don't they? They take the occasion to storm.
Well, the Ukraine-Sweden game has kicked off, so we'll go and see who we are going to be playing in the quarterfinals.
Yes.
Just a quick one here. Man of the match was Jordan Pickford, as voted for by the BBC followers, with Grealish second, Sterling third, before you get to the top German, Havertz. Mate, it's been a pleasure to have you on, because obviously we won. It's always a pleasure when we win. I need to go and get rid of this fish and chips that's hanging really, really badly in my stomach. I will see you on Tuesday at 7.
Yeah.
And when we are picking our fantasy teams, I believe.
Yes, I believe it's that one.
That could be interesting. Talking of fantasy teams, it's not fantasy, it is England. We're through to the quarters. Thanks very much, Brad. I'll see you then. Take care.
Always, mate. Take care.
Cheers. All the best. Thanks for coming on. So, England 2, Germany 0. Can you still believe it? Are you still pinching yourself? It's a reminder. 2-0. It's the Euros.
It's the Euros 2020 with Chris and Leicester Till I Die TV.
I'm off. I'll be back on Nippon's channel Monday at 10 o'clock. And we might have a surprise before that as well. Stay tuned. Come on, England. Let's go all the way. It's coming home.
Matt Elliott here. Be sure to watch Leicester Till I Die TV on YouTube and follow all their social media platforms for all the latest updates and news on Leicester City Football Club.
Thanks for watching Leicester Till I Die. This is Chris saying goodbye and see you next time.
Some people are on the pitch, they think it's all over. It is now.
To an end. But the fun doesn't have to stop here. If you have any questions, suggestions, or feedback, head over right now to Twitter and Facebook and like, share, and get involved. Join us next time.